welcome to the Gnosis Validator Meetup at the December edition. Today we have a very special guest who is leading the Erigon client on Ethereum mainnet, also the Gnosis Chain. Today I'm going to share with you some updates from Gnosis Chain. And also after my short updates, Giulio from Erigon, he will explain Erigon 3 and the Caplin, the archive data format. And then we will have a question and answer session, and then we will close. It takes around 45 minutes, the whole meetup, but it depends on your questions for sure. Okay, let's get started. First updates from our side is we have published the Spectra upgrade specifications. This upgrade specifications includes Spectra hard fork EIPs with the EIP 7251 implementation, which is called the max effective balance. This is a short term. Will increase from 1 GNO to 64 GNO per validator. It's a great resource-effective upgrade, I think. We will share more details about the includes EIPs, specifications, and the comprehensive guidelines for validators and node operators before the hard fork timeline, as usual. You can see all the details on the link. Other updates from Get. As you follow the Get updates for a while, we have completed the full Get synchronization and rebased the code base to the Get version of 140.11. And Guillaume from Get created a clean pull request that demonstrates successful block production and the chain following on the Chiado. Some professional node operators has already running a get clients on their operation for a while, and we have seen some bad block production 2 days ago. Luca from Serenita, I'm sure he's on the call. Yeah, shared some updates from his operational side. But yeah, end of the day, I think we are ready to launch publicly Get client on Gnosis Chain. It means a lot for us because of it is helping our client diversity and all around adding a new execution client side. Another update from OBOL side. Yesterday we announced as phase 2 DVT testing on Gnosis Chain. After successful phase 1 testing process, I'm also very excited to announce phase 2. This stage also will focus on the validator cluster performance and stability under the real world conditions, which is all operations running on the Gnosis Chain mainnet. It's a really interesting thing that Hopper team. We have 4 teams that's running this efforts: Hopper, Gateway, Nethermind, and DV Labs. DV Labs is basically OBOL's collective tech team, and Hopper team is participating this effort as using a DApp node as a very very nice one. We want to show you everybody can participate DV cluster on their home with using their home nodes like a DApp node. I will share more details about this process after the cluster testing. We will announce currently we are working on the full implementation on Gnosis Chain, and we will announce the DVT node operator ecosystem program to you for the public participation. This week also Nethermind team released a Shutter Network validator participation with their latest client release. is not a fully release, but with using another mind client, I think everyone now available to participate on the Shutter network as a validator with this updates, which is super nice. This is also ensure our protecting against front running and supports fair and secure transaction execution on Gnosis Chain. If you think about, if you consider the being a validator on Shutter, the links for you. Another one, yeah. As I'm sure you know, I'm sure you follow the Gnosis Chain Twitter account. We shared a lot of community participation. Like one of the community members from Africa, they have started the Gnosis Chain nodes at the Africa, and also yesterday we've seen Ethereum Veracruz team. They started running a node at the Mexico. As you know, our main power is the network resilience. This type of individual node operators all around the world. When you start a node, our networks will resilient. Our network will secure and more resilient. So yeah, we will encourage more people to running a node at home all over the world on Gnosis Chain for the next year also. One last update from my side. I have 3 minutes. Last month at the DevCon, our OG node operators, Harok and Awagochi, delivered a great presentation, which called a stacking on power efficient and low cost hardware from ARM 6.4 to RISC-V boards. You can watch all the records over here. They shared a detailed insight about their tests conducted on Chiado using a RISC-V boards, and I think presented fascinating details about the future use of the RISC-V boards. I'm sure you know it. ZK VM proving efforts is based on the RISC-V boards, so we can use also RISC-V boards on validating and node operating side as well. So yeah, if you want to talk about this topic, you can basically tag Harok here, and also Awagochi. They are pretty active on the Gnosis Validator chat. You can reach out directly. Okay, right now I will hand over to the Julio about talking about Erigon version 3 and the Caplin.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm just gonna share my screen. Just tell me if you guys can see. I have a small presentation.
Perfect.
Yeah. So can you guys see it? What can you guys see? Can you see it?
Yes, we have seen great Otter logo.
Can you see me like switching tabs here?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so I'm Julian, I'm a software engineer in Erigon, and I would like to add shield Erigon 3 and Caplin to in this validator meetup, and also I would like to also shield EP44 on Gnosis. Because I think you guys can do some interesting things that Ethereum is currently not doing with it. But yeah, so first I'm going to just talk about Erigon 3, and then I'm going to just detour for a bit on EP44s. So first of all, what is Erigon 3? So Erigon 3 is basically our new client, our new major release. It's our new data model, and we did it because basically we wanted, because Erigon 2 was basically incomplete, it wasn't fast enough, and people have problems with it, and so we started developing this new solution, and we had many improvements. So the main ones are, whoever tried it knows, is extremely fast in syncing. It takes like 3 hours for Gnosis and 18 hours for mainnet, depending on your network bandwidth. It has granularity of history, which makes it really fast for RPC. It has lower latency at the tip of the chain, which is a very big pain for staking. Many people miss attestation on Erigon 2. We fixed this in Erigon 3 to the point where it's good enough for a test for running a validator effectively. And also we reduced the size of the archive node from 2.4 terabytes to 1.6 terabyte for mainnet, and Gnosis is at 300 gigabyte right now. And lastly, we made it more configurable so that you can run full node, and also you can make your own basically validator node. And I'm going to just talk about that a little bit later down the line. But basically, we also made it more customizable when it comes to the data layout. Okay. So the first thing I want to say is that a big focus was put on the staking because, as I said before, historically with Erigon, we never really cared about it too much. We were always an archive node, and we always were kind of this resource hog that was only good at one thing. And we fixed it basically with Erigon 3. We optimize space for the full nodes. We have lower bandwidth consumption, which is now more in line with the normal nodes. And this is all, by the way, mainnet. This is all mainnet. This is mainnet, by the way. And yeah, we also, of course, as I said before, you have faster sync, and the RAM usage has been reduced to the standard 32 gigabyte for a consensus and execution client pair. In this case, it was benchmarked with Erigon and Caplin, but the same should be for Prism. So now we actually are okay also on the memory. We're also okay on the memory side, which was a big problem in Erigon 2 because we didn't really optimize for that. And yeah, so what we basically did is that we switched from the previous single state model, which basically concentrated all of the state in one database, to the static state model, which basically makes sure that the state can be antiquated as history, basically like blocks, and then you can treat it as such, and you can do some cool optimizations with it. Because if history state can be represented as static files or static data, you can then download it from BitTorrent like it was blocks. So that's basically why we are so fast in syncing. It's because we just download it from BitTorrent instead of DevP2P. And yeah, so in Ethereum mainnet, just to give you and before we had to reconstruct the state, and it was only 150 gigabyte of data on mainnet, and naturally, if you just download it, it takes like hours. It doesn't take like days to sync a node. So that's one. Third, we also, with an increased amount of configuration, we can kind of introduce minimal nodes for people who don't have a big hardware when they want to stake. So if you have so in reality now you only need like only a few blocks to actually sync Erigon. And the most thing you need is the state. The biggest thing you need is the state. And so for small machines, we can kind of just throw away all of the blocks and effectively do EAP for force a bit early, and basically reduce the disk footprint of the execution layer by a lot. For example, on mainnet it's 289 gigabyte against 1 terabyte of archive node of full node, sorry. And on Gnosis is 91 gigabyte against 200 gigabyte. So effectively, if you don't have a big disk, you can now stake. Although we don't recommend this because it's bad for the network. But you can customize your system. It's open source, so you can do that. You should have the freedom to do that. And yeah, so this is kind of what we did from this side of things. Then, as I said before, so most clients have something called granularity of blocks, right? So when you want to go back in the history, you use block-based snapshots, and then you reconstruct kind of the history you need to do, say, an ATH call. Now, in order to optimize the RPC, we do it at the transaction level so that you only need to execute one transaction to actually do a trace or a call. And this actually lower our DDoS on RPC, and it makes us much, much faster when it comes to latency. Pretty much to all state-related endpoints. So imagine like ATH call, tracing, all of that is now super fast. It's just one transaction execution. So we fixed that too. And then latency on chain tip. This is kind of a big one because on staking, we always fall behind the tip on weak machines with Erigon 2, and we fix this so we don't miss attestation anymore. We have very good uptime and overall just just lower pain, lower hardware requirements. You can run with the less power CPU now. It's basically just a whole world better than Erigon 2, right? It's just completely better. And so this is, for example, at the chain tip benchmark of Erigon 2 versus Erigon 3, you can see that it's around 4 times faster, if not more. So now you can run it comfortably from home, and you don't have to have a huge amount of RAM to actually run it. It's now much more efficient, even on small machines. Still a long way from others, but this is good enough for staking on mainnet and Gnosis. Right, and you want to increase this, of course. We still are working on this, and this is gonna be a main focus on moving forward. But yes, the gist is that now you don't miss attestation anymore. It's all good. So another important thing is that we also made it so you can optimize the cost of running a node. The thing is that with our new model, most of the state is blocks, so you can store that actually on a SATA disk instead of an NVMe, and you can only keep, and if you want, you can only keep the hot state, which is around 30 gigabyte on the fast disk. And this allows you to put basically many Erigon nodes on a single fast disk, and you can have the big gist on a SATA node, right, on a SATA disk, which is better. You basically can optimize cost around this. You can if you run many validators, if you're a big staking pool, you can just optimize your setup like this. And yeah, for reference, the hot data in Erigon 2.0 used to be 1.1 terabyte, and now it's in Erigon 3, it's just 16 gigabyte. So so basically, yes, you can store 95% of the node on HDD or on a SATA, and use a very small amount of NVMe to actually run the node and be okay. Okay. So just for reference, this is our disk footprint, right? We compare archive, full, and minimal. So you can see that. Yeah. So if you were to run like Ethereum, you would have for minimal you have like 235 gigabyte. This is actually a bit outdated for Ethereum. Now it's a bit more. And for Gnosis, it's around 91 gigabyte, and then it just oscillates between 91 and I think 120 is the biggest I've seen, but it just goes up and down. It doesn't. It's because of the bit fragmentation, and eventually just gives it back to the operating system. But yeah, it just oscillates. So this is kind of our numbers. Also, note that Polygon is also kind of the biggest improvement out of all of them. I think Erigon to Polygon is like 16 terabytes. Here is just 4x here it's like 4 times less. So yeah, we optimize the shit out of this basically. And yeah, so now I want to move to another aspect of Erigon 3, which is Caplin, because now Erigon 3 comes with its embedded consensus layer on by default. And I just want to talk about it a little bit, because I think it's quite a cool feature that we have introduced. So the initial objective of the process was just to basically sync with DataCL and have a strong focus on performance on chain tip, so that we don't miss attestations. And another thing we did while doing this is also optimize the archive node for the consensus layer to Oblivion, because L2s need it, and also because of blobs and because of just L2 needs the CL to be able to run as an archive node. Optimism does and Arbitrum does, so it's a real demand. And another cool thing is that you can only run Validator with only one VC and the beacon node and the execution client one in one software, and that simplifies, I think, the flow when it comes from an infrastructure point of view. Yeah, and yes, and you can do some cool optimizations which scales kind of the overall protocol out by a big margin. So this is kind of just the main objective of the projects. And yeah, for example, chain tip performance, this was taken some time ago, but this is kind of how we import blocks with Caplin against with Prism, Lightos, and Take on mainnet. You can see that with the coupled with Caplin approach, it takes way less. It takes like 5. It takes like compared to Lightos, like 2 times less, basically, almost, I mean, more than that. And yeah, so overall, it's just a huge improvement. Just this just means even less missed attestations on not so powerful machines. And yeah, and just to move forward, we also have less memory consumption, memory usage, and this kind of relates to Erigon taking less memory now and being actually efficient, like any other client with full nodes. So yeah, and yeah, so regarding also we introduced, as I said before, the archive node, and this was quite a big success because we were able to basically compare to Lighthouse 3 states to basically outperform it on pretty much all benchmarks. You can see that Lighthouse 3 states grows almost exponentially, while Caplin almost just is like linear. And their latency is much lower, and we take also less disk, and yeah, overall it was just like a big improvement, a big step up. Right, and so this was a success, and we also made it so that the data availability of Ethereum could be retrieved fast because L2 is needed. So we talk about blobs and blocks basically of this consensus layer, and we do it through BitTorrent, so you don't need to go through the P2P network and hope that some nodes keep it. Now it's fast. You can download it at 100 megabyte per second on a fiber on a optic fiber, and you're going to be golden. You're going to download it all of the blobs in like 1 hour. So if you're running a L2 node, it's very, very good for that. And as a matter of fact, we have a lot of people running Arbitrum and Optimism against Caplin. That's pretty much most people who run Caplin. That's what they do. And yeah, as I said before, this is just what I said before. And yeah, this is actually just technical stuff. I actually don't want to go over it now. So yeah, and this is kind of our result with the validator. Right now I'm running Gnosis from home, and it's just fine. It's going very well. The effectiveness is almost 100%, and it has very low downtime, and overall really good. Even running, so it runs on a DApp node, which is what I would assume is the common staking hardware requirements. So if it runs on a DApp node, it's probably running very comfortably on your average home staking setup. Yep. And the last thing I want to talk about, like I want to stop talk about Erigon for a bit. I want to now just kind of hard shield AP for Force to you guys, because I think it's cool that Gnosis kind of take a different approach than Ethereum with this EAP. So for people who don't know what EAP for 4 is basically history expiry. After you keep only a certain amount of blocks, and you don't keep the rest, and this is basically what makes the minimal nodes so good in Erigon, is that you don't keep all the blocks. And with this AP, you make all the nodes do it, basically, or even Nethermind. And I think it's cool. So Ethereum hasn't done this yet because they want to have easier retrievability, but Gnosis is an innovative chain, and really, since you guys, I think, have a way to retrieve the blocks, which is through Swarm or Erigon BitTorrent, you guys can probably just do it now very easily. It's not a big technical thing to do. And really, there is no reason to do it. Ethereum is much more conservative on these things, but I think Gnosis can kind of take the first step in this. I think it's a very good opportunity for you guys to do it. Also, because on Gnosis it halves the history requirements of disk, as I showed before actually here. Actually, no, I haven't showed it. But basically, my validator takes only 90 terabytes on my DApp node, and yeah, so you can pretty much decrease the storage requirements by quite a huge margin. And since Gnosis tends to move faster, I really would suggest you guys to just do it instead of of waiting. I think you guys can move faster than Ethereum in this. And I mean, yeah, that's pretty much all. That's pretty much my hard shield, actually. Yeah, I think I'm a bit ahead of time.
Thank you, Giulio. Feel free to share your questions if you have. I see some questions.
Where can I see them?
Thank you for the amazing presentation and hard shield. I'm pretty amazed especially for the cost of running a node and some disk space numbers. So Dirk is asking, I'm running Erigon version 2, 59 in a dApp node environment for Gnosis Chain, and it used 2.26 terabyte. Is that expected?
Well, I think the dapnode package is probably not well tuned because it should take a little bit less. Yeah, it should take like 1.5, but I think it's because the DAP node doesn't run Erigon 2 in with pruning. Wait, did you say you use 19 terabyte for your own node? No, I don't. Okay.
I have a question for the
Yeah.
client combination. I mean, node operators knows that some client combinations perform better than others, like one client combination on EL and the CL is work together very nicely. In your opinion, which consensus client works better with the Erigon for home operators, especially?
I mean, with V3, it's probably 100% Caplin because we have coupled in optimizations, and you just don't yes you yeah would be basically if you take Erigon V3 and you benchmark against all the consensus layer, Caplin wins because it's coupled in. So it's Caplin. If you are not, I think Nimbus performs well with Erigon as well. If you want an external one.
Yeah, one question from about the Caplin. This is my question. I mean, torrent snapshotting is a feature of the Caplin, right?
Yes.
Is your home internet bandwidth sufficient to handle frequent syncs or data transfer without interrupts to the other activities on your network?
Yeah.
Is it possible
Yes.
to run it?
We optimized the bandwidth a lot on Erigon Free, and it before it was just bad. Now it's quite good. It's 5 megabyte in and 5 megabyte out for my Gnosis node, and I basically am subscribed to consensus subnets because I run like 100 validators. So if you were to like run one validator, it's gonna be less. And I just do like 6 megabytes in and 6 megabytes out constantly. That's basically what happens with Erigon V3. I think it's much higher with Erigon 2. It's much higher. There were some bugs that I had to fix.
Perfect. Derek
Oh
also
wait,
asking, can I also say network bandwidth with Erigon
yeah, I
3?
think I already answered that. I think I already answered yes, you can. I actually, if you want network bandwidth, I suggest to just open Erigon 3 after we do maybe an alpha release or a beta release, which I'm gonna do soon. That's my suggestion. Yeah. Okay.
For the data accessibility side, like with Erigon version 3, I mean ultra fast RPC and blockchain as well, blockchain exploration tool as well, like Autoscan. How
Yeah.
much value would improved speed and data insight bring to your home operation? I
You
mean,
mean Totterscan?
yeah, for example, Autoscan is a great tool especially for the home stakers, home operators, because it's a pretty configurable blockchain explorer, and you can use on your local. So with the Erigon 3 is giving this type of accessibility, like accessing the ultra fast RPC.
Yeah. Yes. So yeah, it is faster. It is faster. It is faster also there. We did some optimizations also on how we store blocks. So yeah, it's also faster there. Also because Autoscan now uses also Caplin, and Caplin is actually really fast for some things. And incidentally, the thing that Caplin does well, Autoscan needs them. So we end up having it end up being faster. Yes.
Perfect. One question from David. Hello, David. I'm from Africa. We use Starlink to run Gnosis node, and by default, Starlink uses IP version 6, and I guess Erigon uses IPv6. Will you consider having a flag for user to select what IPv?
Um, I'm actually I actually don't know this question because I never looked into this feature. Do other clients have this? Because I'm not sure if it's even possible. I never looked into this.
Yeah, me neither. No idea actually.
I think
Um,
you actually can't, but this is just on top of my head.
all
Yeah.
right. Yeah, feel free to share any questions if you have, because we have 10 more minutes, 10 or 15 minutes.
Somebody's writing.
Yeah,
Oh,
Eagle
yes,
Axe Bro, perfect.
yeah, and he said that it is a problem with other clients, so I think it's not possible. I think that's the answer.
I mean, this type of numbers, it is extremely beneficial for the home stakers on Gnosis Chain because of we have a very low barrier to start spinning node, and if the Erigon version 3 and Caplin provide like an less than a 100 gigabyte opportunity, it would be really awesome.
Yeah, I think to run a node comfortably, you just need 200 gigabyte. Because of course of course you're kind of on the edge there,
Yep.
though.
Yeah.
I just want to point it out. Oh.
Chim asking, can you remind us when the launch of Erigon Planet expected?
Okay, okay, I can tell you that we are gonna probably do actually an alpha this week, and then the beta will be either soon, in the next weeks. Very soon, though. Very soon. I hope I'm pushing people to release it soon. So soon.
Yeah, Harshil
Soon.
needs alpha.
Yeah, Archive needs alpha. So yeah, as you saw, actually, in this, I use alpha 6, which is internal access only for now. We're gonna release an alpha this week, and the next week, hopefully, I think beta, or the next, or either next week or the week after, it's beta. I think. I hope.
Wonderful. I'm looking forward to use it.
Let's go.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's about end for our validator meetup. Next meetup will happen at the January. I don't know who will participate right now, because we are going to New Year and Christmas holiday.
Right. Let me
Gio,
just.
can you share, if it's possible, to share your presentation link? We can
Oh, I can
release
share
some.
it. Yeah, I can share it in the later.
Yeah, for sure.
I need. Yeah. Okay. I will do it later. I will do it after the call, because now I actually. Okay. Can I just? I will unshare my screen. Wait.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, when you're ready, you can share it. You can put it on the chat.
Yeah,
Everybody can
I
see,
will
because
share it as a PDF
it's a
maybe.
when you have time, feel free to share it, because it is great. Everybody should know the Erigon version 3 and Caplin.
Yeah. I shared it in the chat. I can share it maybe in validators too.
Yep. Thank you so much. Thank you for participating in our call. It was the first call that Erigon team members participated. This is maybe is a historical one, and thank you so much. See you at the next call, and I wish happy holiday seasons and wish you a great year.